Hi and welcome to Best in Tesla. So, it is easy to get caught up in the near-term noise and forget what has actually happened over the last 5 years. I have been making videos about Tesla and the electric revolution. In fact, the car market, according to experts, looking back 5 years, is unrecognizable. And if you are waiting for an affordable EV, wait no more. You can easily get a great Tesla for only $16,000. So, let's check it all out and let's dive right in. So the car market has changed so much that even Car Commerce is saying in a new report that the car industry is unrecognizable. And if you think EVs are too expensive, well, you can get a decent EV for a very good price. Because you might want to check out the used car market, because here you can find a Tesla like the one I'm still driving, the long-range Tesla Model 3 from 2019, for just $16,000. And that is on a car that has done less mileage than the one I have. So you can still go electric and get a very good car, a Tesla, for just $16,000. And you might think that EV's batteries will not last very long, so you should not buy a used EV. But I have had my Model 3 long range from April 2019. I have driven it over 180,000 kilometers, or about 112,000 miles. My battery has only degraded like 10%, so it's really not something that I feel in my everyday driving. Not even on road trips, as we just did this summer down to Austria for the Tesla Takeover event. A 1,400 kilometers drive, still absolutely no problem, especially with Tesla's great charging network. But it still drives like a dream. Actually, it is even faster than when I bought it, as I have bought the acceleration boost from Tesla with an push of a button with some of my referral points. But it's still such an awesome car to drive today. Yes, when I go from my brand new Model Y built in Germany to my old Model 3 built in the US, I can feel the difference in build quality. This old Model 3 is, after all, the one Sandy Munro thought was a terrible fit and finish, and he could not believe that anyone would put anything this bad on the road and call it a premium car. But then Sandy took it for a spin, and that changed Tesla for Sandy forever. It might not be up to par with the Germans in build quality back in 2019, but it drove just as good. As Sandy himself said, it drives like a BMW, only faster.
All right, so we've had our little ride. To me, again, it's there may be some things I don't like, but boy, it has nothing to do with drivability or quickness or anything else. If you're a driver, this is like driving a BMW, only faster.
But that car that blew Sandy's mind with how good it is driving can be yours for as little as $16,000. If you want one with less mileage on the odometer, you can get one with only 25,000 miles on the odometer for $25,000. And these things are still very good cars. It is even the car Kathy Woods from Ark Invest have. I still love mine and use it every single day, as my wife, who is the one that drives a lot, uses the new Model Y most days. And I still love driving my Model 3, still as fast and responsive as ever, makes every other ICE car feels slow and outdated, as they just don't have instant torque or great software, because the software in my 5-year-old Tesla is still up to date. Just got a software update here the other day, and Tesla has even made my cameras work even better on my 5-year-old Tesla without doing anything to the hardware. pretty impressive. So that you can get this kind of car that I'm still driving with a smile on my face every day for just $16,000 in the US is insane. And not surprisingly, I think people are starting to learn that EVs batteries don't die after 100,000 kilometers, as so many fools have been saying for so many years, but are starting to understand that the battery will outlast the lifetime of the car, and that an EV will have a longer lifespan than a traditional ICE car. And yes, sometimes we see people getting a new battery, but that is usually when there is something wrong with the battery pack, and that usually shows up in the start of a vehicle's life, so they will fix it under the warranty. That is 8 years or 120,000 miles, whichever comes first. So I even have a warranty on my battery still here after 5 years and 112,000 miles driven. So I would not hesitate to buy a used EV like this. And it seems like other people are getting this as well, as we can see in this new report from Car Commerce, as they wrote. The car market continues to recover and evolve, this June seeing ongoing price stabilization. When you take a step back for a broader perspective, however, the market has seen a sweeping change since the first half of 2024, particularly with the growing influence of electric vehicles as consumers' demand and inventory continues to increase, said Rebecca Lindland, Senior Director of Industry Data and Insight at Car Commerce. And compared to 5 years ago, when the market was last stable, today's market is almost unrecognizable. Consumers are paying more than 30% higher price for a new and used car, with more than 1 million fewer vehicles available on each side of the market, so the old and the new. But they are also making significantly more on trade-ins. The EV market has undergone a dramatic transformation, evolving from a niche segment to a mainstream choice for many consumers. Over the last 5 years, the demand for new EVs has surged by an astonishing 930%. This growth is driven by several factors: a wider range of choice, better access to charging, increased consumer awareness about environmental impact, supportive state and federal policies, government rebates and tax incentive, and advances in battery technology that offer increased range and reduce range anxiety. Despite a 56% increase for a new EV since 2019, the first half of 2024 has brought some relief to shoppers. Prices are down 4% compared to the first half of 2023, saving consumers on average about $2,400 per vehicle, and inventory has improved by 53% in the same time period. So this also shows what Tesla is fighting against: a rise in EV prices of 56%, but the Model 3 long range in my country is significantly cheaper than when I bought it. It's actually about 25% cheaper today, but today you get a much better car with the Model 3 refreshed. But this is Tesla trying to keep their addressable market at the same size, even though interest rates are up and the average new selling price of an EV has gone up by 56%. As I showed before from ARK Invest, that the price per month for a Tesla, which is what really matters, was basically the same in 2019 and in 2023, with a 20% down, because Tesla only has access to about 5% of the addressable market with the average selling price they have. So if they want to have the best-selling car in the world, they have to make sure they don't get a smaller addressable market, and that is exactly what they have done with all the price cuts. But the used car market has also surged, as they wrote in this report. The new EV market is not alone in its transformation. Over the last 5 years, the average price for a used EV has increased by almost 50%, from $25,000 to almost $37,000, and the supply has jumped by almost 500%. In the first half of 2024 alone, demand for a used EVs has surged surged almost 40% compared to the first half of 2023. Inventory has grown by 45% in the first 6 months of the year compared to 2023, adding 38,000 more vehicles for buyers and causing prices to drop nearly 20%, saving customers over $8,500. So that is nice to see and seems like a good time to buy a used EV compared to a year ago. But the broader new car market has also evolved. Consumers are now spending over $11,000 more on a new vehicle than in 2019, with prices rising 30% from about $38,000 to $49,000 over the last 5 years. Inventory is down 24% in the same period, resulting in 1.7 million fewer vehicles available for shoppers. Market recovery continues, allowing manufacturers to increase production and resulting in a wider availability of new cars. In the first half of 2024, new inventory is up 13% compared to the first half of 2023, and new car prices have decreased slightly, down 1%, maintaining an average of around $49,000 for the past 9 months. The used car market has followed a similar path. Over the last 5 years, the average price of used vehicles has surged by 34%, from $21,000 to $28,000, and the ongoing inventory shortage has created a competitive market with 1.5 million fewer used vehicles available. So as we have talked about before, the secret pinned-up demand, or the valley of death, is playing out right now. People are holding on to their used cars longer because many want their next car to be electric, but they're just waiting for the right one, and they don't want to buy a new ICE car in the meantime, as their value would probably drop off a cliff in the coming years due to the lower demand for used ICE cars in the future, especially when we are now starting to get a lot more used EVs on the road, making EVs accessible to a lot more people. I mean, for people to be able to get a car like the Tesla Model 3 long range for just $16,000 is a very good deal. I still love driving mine. Its software is up to date, it can still charge with up to 250 kilowatts, and it still have a range of about 380 to 400 kilometers of real-world range with a mixed driving. It does not have a heat pump, but on my extreme road trip up through Norway, if you haven't seen that little series yet, you definitely should. No doubt some of my best work, but here we did see that I still had about 330 kilometers of range with the driving we did on that trip. So the range only dropped 20% in freezing temperatures. So this old car can still perform even during the winter, and charging was never a problem because it still preheats the battery for a 25% quicker charging than most other EVs can do today that doesn't have that feature. This is an incredible car for an incredible price, if you ask me. So if you're looking for a new car but don't have the budget for a new EV yet, but don't want to buy a new ICE car, you should definitely check out the used EV car market. You might just find a very good deal on a used Tesla and get to know how it is living with an EV before you buy a new one in 3 years' time, when the more affordable versions are coming out. And I can vouch that they are still just perfect EVs here 5 years later. Even with 180,000 kilometers on the odometer, it still drives like it's new. So yes, when we zoom out and look back 5 years, we can truly see the change that has happened in the car market already. And we can really see the growth of 930% the EV market has grown with. But this is just the beginning. Soon it will not only be the used EVs that will be very affordable, but new EVs from the Chinese and Teslas will be coming to the West over the next few years, and that will only make the growth even faster. And remember, Tesla has already told us that they are between 2 growth waves, and the other wave will start next year with the release of a couple of more affordable models. The EV revolution has only just begun, but zooming out, it is quite clear what is happening right now. A growth of 930% for EVs is pretty hard to miss. And thank you for watching. And until next time, take care out there and be nice.